My wife secretly teamed up with my coworker to spy on me at work.
That's odd.
Me, 31 male, and my wife, 30 female, have been married for 5 years, together for 8. My wife has been jealous of a coworker at my job for some time now. Her name is Heather, and she's in her early 20s, and tall and pretty.
Okay.
Just observations, as I have a pair of eyes.
You can't do that. I don't get why people put themselves in a hole.
Babe, why are you so jealous of the tall, pretty girl at work?
Yeah.
She's so tall and pretty.
Oh, did I mention she's young too?
By the way, this comes from user World's Gone Mad. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you'd do something else, let us know in the comments, as OP says. Heather is nice, but I don't go out of my way to talk to her. We worked together on a project about 8 months ago, which is when this seems to have started. Heather, 3 other coworkers, and I were assigned to this project, and for a good month, we spent much time together at work. My wife saw her one day when we were all coming out, and she was picking me up to go to dinner at my parents'. She immediately asked who she was and if she worked at my job. I told her she was new and was put on our project. For the entire duration of the project, my wife was in a bad mood almost every day and would take every opportunity to tear Heather down, saying she was lanky or her nose was crooked or whatever.
Dude, people have said that about me.
She is insecure about her height because she's 5'4" and not a 6-foot-tall glamazon. I love my wife's height and her petite figure and tell her this every day. She is extremely gorgeous and turns heads whenever we walk downtown. But once she saw Heather was tall and not ugly, she was convinced I thought she was hot. I kept telling her she was just a colleague and that I had no interest in her. Regardless, she would greet her coldly or not at all if she saw my colleagues. You've been with her for 8 years at this point. That's a little too long for this kind of behavior to be happening.
I'm getting the ick.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't break up with her over this, clearly.
No, I would.
But, like, it's definitely like babe, I've been with you for 8 years. Like, okay, so everyone looks at her when we walk down the street. Our home and jobs are located downtown, so we usually walk to meet up with each other after work. My wife would start dressing up a lot more than usual when she'd come meet me and make a big show of jumping on me and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
She works at a very nice bakery and usually brings leftovers from work for us or people at my job. She always gave things out to everyone except Heather. Eventually, Heather picked up on the hostility and approached me to ask why my wife was acting that way. I simply told her I didn't know, maybe because she didn't know her as long as the other colleagues. She was distant. She seemed to accept that, but would no longer leave at the same time as everyone else and would either go early or hang back. Brian, another coworker, approached me on Friday and asked to talk to me privately. He told me he'd been at lunch with Kate, the coworker in question, and she had gone to pay for the food. She left her phone on the table, it lit up with a text, and he saw it was from Valerie, my wife's name. The text basically said, "Did you see him talking to her today? What did he say? Then, do you think Heather is going to stay at that job long?" When Kate came back to the table, he asked her if that was Valerie, as in my wife. She got a deer-in-the-headlights look and said, "Oh, yeah, we text sometimes. We're friends." He said he thought it was weird because she put her phone in her purse without even checking the messages he had asked about and wanted to go. I went home and snooped on my wife's phone. I know it was wrong, but I had a feeling that if I asked her, she would deny it or become defensive and not show me the phone. There were weeks' worth of texts that basically were little reports on what went on at work. If Heather talked to me, what we talked about, did she hug me goodbye, did she touch me at all, did I laugh at her jokes, did the guys think she was hot, did I join in with them, did I look like I was flirting?
Oh. That is terrifying. No. What?
You've been together for 8 years.
Yeah.
If you don't trust him, believe.
Yeah, for real. Don't pull this crap.
So lame. Kate was also apparently talking up Valerie at work to Heather. She made sure to mention often that we were married and how great Valerie was and how long we had been together. A lot of things started coming together then. Heather was much more distant lately. She seemed hesitant to say bye at the end of the day. We used to talk casually like everyone else at work, but now she would just say hi and bye mostly. I've been sitting on this information all weekend. Today at work, I could hardly look at Heather for shame of it, and I couldn't look at Kate for my disgust. I haven't been able to approach my wife about this because I just don't know how or what to say. I feel frustrated and very much weirded out. I feel gross too, like I've had my every move watched without knowing it, and as if just talking to a coworker is doing something wrong. I haven't talked to anyone else about this, not even Brian, who first mentioned it. I don't know what to do from here. I don't even know what this means for our relationship. It feels like something big has changed because I haven't been able to look at her the same way, and all my interactions with her since Friday have been kind of forced and faked. I need to talk to her and figure out what to do. Any advice would be appreciated. I feel very lost right now, and we have some comments. Me personally, I think my technique would be like, you just gotta sort of, not aggressively, but you have to blitz her. You have to be like, hey, we need to talk.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then be like, so I know that you and Kate have been texting, and it's I know, and it's okay, but we need to talk about what this means for us, because if you're really this worried about me working with some other girl that I have no interest in, and she is just an objectively attractive person, and you're spying on me now, that makes me feel weird about us. Like, why don't you trust me? Like, what is it about her or me that's got you this way? Just flat out.
I'd start with that. Then I'd piggyback onto, why do you not trust me?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
You're a towel. 26326 says, has your wife been irrationally jealous before? Did something happen in your relationship to make her lose all trust for you? I guess those things don't really matter. You guys need couples counseling regardless. But I'm curious as to where this behavior is coming from. I'm sorry this is making work so uncomfortable for you, and especially for Heather, who never asked for any of this. Please talk to your wife so you can save your job, marriage, and all the unfortunate bystanders who are now involved. OP says, yes, she has. My wife is very insecure about her looks, and I find it very sad. I'm not saying this because I'm her husband, but she is very beautiful. Long dark hair, light brown eyes, perfect face. She really does get a lot of looks and double takes. But she experienced a lot of bullying as a kid. She had bushy brows growing up and was the only Italian girl in her middle school. She grew up thinking she was ugly for not being taller, blonde-haired, and blue-eyed. She thinks that that's secretly what I want, I guess, although I've never said anything to indicate that.
Tell her you want spaghetti. Tell her you want pizza.
But we do have an update, I know that.
Yikes. What worries me about this guy is how he described the Heather. Also, when you post the first one, kind of like, throwing it out there, getting some advice. The second update is usually when people like sit with all the comments and really think about what's going to happen. Yeah. And it's either, I'm calling this, it's either going to go one of two ways. One, he accepts where he went wrong and he gets roasted and he's like, I'm going to change this better person. Or two, he's going to be so defensive, kind of double down in the way that he's been acting. It's just going to make more resentment for the marriage. Everyone in the story needs to change, except for Heather.
I don't think there's anything wrong with just saying a person is objectively pretty. You just said that she's tall and pretty.
Dude, if you say that on a subreddit, though, you're basically like shooting yourself in the foot. So that's the first comment that everyone's going to be saying. That's the first thing he's going to address in this next upcoming update.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see. I took the general advice and confronted Valerie and used therapy as a non-negotiable term. So Tuesday when I posted, I saw Kate at work and bluntly said, you don't need to report on me today or any day after this. I'll be talking to my wife after I'm done today. She got this blank look on her face and said she didn't know what I meant, but I noticed her hanging around significantly less than usual after that. I did my best to focus on my work, but I asked to go home early because it was just impossible with everything looming ahead for me to concentrate. I went home and texted my wife I was home early and needed to talk to her when she was done with work, so to please come home right away. I got a bunch of what's going on and what's wrong texts, but I just kept telling her I'd talk to her at home. She got home and I got into it right away. I told her I knew about the text with Kate, about the spying, and the intimidation of Heather. She was mad at first and kept adamantly saying she did nothing wrong and that if I had nothing to hide, why did it matter? I told her to please not play me for a fool and outlined all of the things her behavior meant, like lack of trust and sheer vindictiveness. I brought up the consequences, like my damaged trust and the drama in the workplace. I also brought up how my job could be at risk because of this. She made a point to say they couldn't fire me without also removing Heather, as she'd say she was being inappropriate towards a married man in the workplace, and Kate would back her up. What?
Dude.
What?
What is
that's
happening?
a good, like, you're like, that's a good thing?
That is crazy.
Like, you're like, well, at least you'd both be fired because she was doing wrong by marriage. She was just existing. So, OP continues. That brought us to a heated argument, and it ended with her crying and me yelling. She started asking, who the F is Heather to you that you gave so much of a crap anyway?
No.
It's not about Heather. It's literally not about Heather. It's about us. Heather, it could be anyone. Heather is not important. It could be Bruce.
Honestly.
It could be anyone. So that derailed into this whole thing about me caring too much about someone I claimed meant nothing to me. I don't want to get into too much detail because this would be extremely long, but the conversation was a good 5 to 6 hours long. It ended with her agreeing to go to couples therapy and individual therapy if the couples therapist so deemed it. She apologized to me a lot and admitted she had been acting out of jealousy and anger towards Heather. She asked if I wanted her to apologize to Heather in person, but I said no. I didn't want to be there to be more. I did not want there to be more drama. I watched as she texted Kate and told her to stop and that she was sorry for dragging her into this. She gave me the password to her phone for transparency, but I told her it was pointless, as if she really wanted to continue, she could just delete the text before I saw them or change the name or whatever. I told her I expected her to keep her word to stop, because if I got any indication that this was still going on after our talk, I would separate from her and file for divorce.
Whoa.
I just feel like this is a workable problem.
Yes.
Because there's nothing going on.
Yes.
Yesterday morning, things still seemed tense. Go figure. But it was to be expected. She still kissed me before going to work, and we had a normal text conversation on our commute. I got to work, and Kate apologized to me. I accepted it, but told her our work relationship from here on out is forever changed, and there's no going back from it. I told her that beyond work conversation, we have nothing else to talk about. She accepted it and went on to start the day. Lunch rolls in. I asked Brian if he'd let me buy him lunch and thank him for telling me. We went to have lunch, and he asked me if I've heard that Heather put in her request for a transfer.
Good.
Apparently, on Tuesday when I left early, Heather asked why I wasn't at my desk because she had brought over the week's project booklet and had seen me there earlier. Kate, of all people, told her I had gone home to deal with personal issues. When Heather asked if everything was all right, Kate told her that she hoped so because I don't want to see someone come between Valerie and OP's marriage. There must have been a bit more to the exchange because Heather went all the way up to our boss's boss and asked for a transfer to a different department.
Good.
Good for you, Heather.
Yeah, that
I would do that too.
she probably felt a lot of little bits and pieces here, and she's like, I cannot deal with this day to day.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm done with this. This is so
Yeah.
stupid. She's like trying to come between Valerie and OP's marriage. It's like, all right, I know what that meant. These buffoons are trying to make me out to be a homewrecker. I don't want to work with them.
Yeah,
Move
dude.
me.
And they're probably lame. She probably doesn't even like where she's at right now.
And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, search OK Storytime. And you can listen to a big old buttload of stories. And there's a little bit left. Let's finish it off. I feel extremely embarrassed because without a doubt, I feel like that guy now in the office. I know Brian isn't a gossip, but of course people will ask why Heather transferred, and without a doubt it will eventually get out. People who used to talk to me casually probably will stop. The women of the office will feel as if they need to keep their distance, and I feel so ashamed that I can't even approach Heather to apologize for the stress this must have caused her. I doubt she would even want to see my face at this point. So yes, wife has agreed to counseling, both couples and individual, apologized to me, all those things. But the damage is now done, and I feel like complete crap about work now. I guess I shouldn't have been so naive to think that just fixing this with my wife would make everything else go away.
Can you mend this in the workspace?
I don't know. I think you would have to be exceptionally chiller. You'd have to be a chiller.
How do you even start the apology process? Or not apology, but hey, the XYZ happened.
Yeah, guys, I know there's been some weird stuff going on in the office, all right? But I'm still OP. I'm still me.
Yeah.
Just let's continue business as usual, all right?
Maybe a round of beers.
But it's like you can't control how everyone else is going to treat you, really, because it's just its own thing now.
Can you come back from this in the work area?
I mean, I think you can, but it's probably not.
Not
Probably not
immediate.
going to go back to normal after you went in and told Kate, like, by the way, you can stop spying on me.
Yeah.
I feel like,
You shouldn't have done that.
I don't know. It's just going to, if anything, I feel like you could have played this differently and it probably would have been Kate who was weird,
Yeah.
but instead it's you now because you've got the wife who will get people fired.
Affair from beyond. I discovered my late husband's affair. Now I'm conflicted.
Yeah, that's pretty spooky.
Yeah. I, 30 female, lost my husband, 33 male, and my sister-in-law about 2 months ago. We had been together for 8 years, married for 6. He was the light of my life and someone I was extremely excited to spend the rest of my life with. We were compatible in so many ways. The spicy sleep life was amazing, even after 8 years, and I still got all giggly just thinking about him. By the way, this comes from Shooksigan. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments down below. So OP says, I think I've coped with this passing quite well. The first month was just a big shutdown. I didn't leave the house. I hardly ate. And all my time was just spent looking at our wedding video over and over. Oh, that's so sad. He just fought ghosts. He's fighting ghosts. Luckily, I have a great boss who understands and without hesitation gave me a 4-month leave. In November, I pushed myself to get out of my bubble. I've tried to keep busy to get back to my everyday life. I've cleaned the house, had people over for dinners, gone out for lunches, and tried to be a good support for my husband's family who lost 2 precious family members in one day. We're all devastated, but we cry it out together, and I feel we've become even closer by being there for each other.
Well, that's good that you have a support system.
Yeah.
You support and lean on each other. That's good.
Exactly. As I've been feeling better, I decided to slowly look over my husband's stuff to see if there's anything to throw out and put everything in boxes until I can manage to go through it all without crying. That's when I decided to access his computer to look for any important emails or such. I checked his mail and also logged onto his Facebook account, and except for over 100 goodbye messages on his wall, there were 3 private messages.
Did they have private parts?
Uh-oh, private messages with private parts and peepees out and...
Dead husband peepees out.
Oh! So, 3 messages. One was from this woman whose name I had heard him mention a long time ago as a childhood friend. I was so disgusted by their conversation, filled with clear evidence that he had been cheating on me. It had places they agreed to meet, trips they'd made when I thought he was on a business trip or with his friends. There was spicy related flirts, hugs, kisses, and even declarations of love.
That's the worst.
No!
That's the worst.
It wasn't just boinking, it was emotions. That's terrible. It's terrible.
Come on, man.
When checking his phone, there were no messages, but the last phone call was from her. Oh, that hurts me. That actually hurts me. The last phone call that my late husband got was from his freaking mistress. That's crazy.
Who's like a childhood friend who's known forever. Why don't you
Yeah.
just marry her, stupid?
Dude, for real. My goodness. To confirm, I called his closest friend and asked about the trips. He just paused and then apologized before telling me everything. Apparently, he had a crush on her in middle school, and it awoke old feelings when she flirted with him at a reunion 2 years ago. It seems a lot of our friends, even his secretary, knew about it and tried to convince him to stop. I don't even know how to function anymore. One part of me wants to mourn for my husband. I miss him so much. I want him next to me when I go to bed. I want back our fun drives to work in the morning, and I miss his warm smile. But the other part of me feels so deceived, and I want nothing else but to go punt and spit on his grave until I'm satisfied.
Yeah, and then the groundskeepers show up and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Nah, this is my dead husband.
Yo.
Nah, this was my husband. He cheated on me. I found out after he shuffled off his mortal coil." And yeah.
Oh, yeah. A few days have passed. I haven't been able to answer any phone calls or messages from his family. I know they probably don't know, and they sincerely worry for me, but I just can't face them with the hate that I have in me right now. I am so frustrated and confused. I want him here to explain everything to me. So I created a Reddit account to get this out of my system. Welcome. This is the best place to do it. I have no idea who to talk to about this since most of our friends knew about it for some time, but never told me anything. I've never felt this alone and betrayed.
I would suggest a licensed therapist who specializes in grief counseling.
Yeah, dude.
That's who I would suggest you talk to.
Yeah. Please give me some wise words to handle this. I feel strange and confused for mourning and missing him when I, at the same time, hate his guts. How do I face his family? Should I tell them? We just had a private funeral, and in 1 month, we're having an open reception for everyone to come and pay their respects. Now, I'm worried that she might come. I know it's open for public, but I really don't want to meet her. Should I try and prevent it, or just skip the reception myself? There's an edit. Oh gosh. Thank you everyone from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to give me some advice in a difficult situation. I'm actually going to wait to read the rest of that because I want to hear your guys' ideas.
Yup.
What advice do we have for OP?
Well, my 10 minutes worth of context and 30 seconds of thought probably aren't going to be the best things. I don't know if you should tell the family. I don't know if I would want the thought of like, am I going to affect the way that they see their son? Is that worth it? Do I need the sense of justice and righteousness? Or do I just evaporate into the wind and move on and start a brand new life? I think you could probably reach out to the family and about her, and if they know anything about when she's coming, or if you could just know when, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard to navigate without being like, yeah, I don't want her there because he cheated on me with her.
Right. And he sucks. I'm freaking pissed at him.
So I don't want to see her.
Right.
But I want to see him. I want to be there for the funeral.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That would require the family knowing. I would be letting all of the people who knew about this and said absolutely nothing to me about it for years,
Yeah.
that they can go kick rocks and lose my number.
So this is the edit. Thank you very much. It helps me so much just to know that all of you spent some time of your life comforting me and giving me advice. I will spend my afternoon reading through everything, and maybe in 1 or 2 weeks, I'll post an update if I've decided what to do with the situation. A lot of people pointed out that I need counseling, and I've already booked 2 appointments this coming week. Great.
Smart.
So I'm on it, and I feel very positive about it. Once again, thank you. Edit number 2, someone worried about children in the picture. He and I didn't want children, so no, gladly there are no children in this situation. And we do have an update.
Well, at least there's no kids.
I know, I was thinking about that
That
too.
is a silver lining, I suppose.
Right? At least it's not worse.
I wouldn't want the weight of like, have I negatively impacted the way his family thinks? It's like, because then it's like not,
Well,
at that point it's like, what does it matter? He's gone. So like making
Right.
his mom and dad be like, oh, our son was a cheater and like whatever. Like
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I don't care.
But
for that.
honestly, like, I'm thinking of like, if she goes to the funeral and she's like so mad at him because she thought he was a good person, and maybe, maybe he mostly is, and this is just like the one flaw of his, maybe, but like, I feel like if I was so mad about that and I was listening to everyone else talk about him, like he was such a good person that did no wrong, absolutely not, when
Yeah.
I'm like actively so mad at him for cheating on me,
Yeah.
I would not be able to listen to that at all.
Yeah, that'd be really rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the family will probably find out anyway.
Yeah. But we got an update. So I still have very confused feelings regarding my husband, and right now I feel like there is no way to forgive him. I try to think of the great times we had together, but I always find myself caught in the he knew what he was doing, yet he smiled at me like that thinking. I'm working on it though. I've already been to 3 counseling sessions and I get along great with my counselor. She's helped me a lot already, and I'm so glad I took your advice to get professional help. After speaking with my counselor, we both agreed that to ease the burden I had about not being able to face his family, I should get away from them for a few days. I sent my in-laws a mail apologizing for not answering them in the past few days and said that everything has been too much for me, so I need to get away. Using that as an excuse, I went on a spontaneous trip to Madeira, which is a destination I've dreamt about for a long time. It was amazing. And after coming home, I realized it was something I needed very much. I was ready to face my problems at once. After a lot of consideration, I decided to tell my brother-in-law and his wife just so someone in his family knew of my situation. Something I didn't mention in the original post is that my husband's family is very important to me. I only have my big brother after dropping contact with our parents, so his family has always been more like a real family to me than an in-laws family. That makes me even more worried to tell them because I'm afraid it would put some distance between us. But at the same time, I don't have the energy to fake myself through the funeral reception for my husband as if I have the same feelings of love for him as I've always had, because I don't. That way, my brother-in-law can take me away or at least have some explanation if I were to lose it at future meetings with the family. Which also, yeah, really quick, she would probably be expected to speak at the funeral too as his wife.
I don't know.
That sounds so
It's
tough,
so
dude.
hard, especially like wanting to maintain that connection.
Yeah.
Suffering alone sucks. But like if you tell the family and then they suffer, like do you just suffer twice? Because now they're suffering because of the revelation you delivered to them. Not that that's wrong, or that it's just a wholly unfair, impossible to navigate spider web of a situation.
So I told these 2 people. They both took it quite well and were immediately on my side without me having to ask for it. I apologize to them both for having revealed this about such a close family member, saying it was not my intention to badmouth him, but just the fact that I needed the support I could get. He said there's nothing to apologize for. The blame is on his brother, and it's nothing that I should apologize for. My brother-in-law is like a big bear and probably the nicest person I know, but I was still nervous telling him, so I'm glad he reacted the way he did. We both agreed on waiting to tell his parents and little sister until the time is right. I get along really well with his wife. The couple lived abroad until 6 months ago, so I never had a good chance to meet and talk to her, but I really enjoyed her company. Yesterday, we went for a shopping trip and dinner, and it's been a long time since I forgot about time and just enjoyed myself. So, about the other woman. I don't have the strength to face or even talk to her, so I decided to entrust her to his closest friend, the one who told me about her. Let's call him Alex. I thought it was a little awkward, but I told him he owed me this for having kept quiet about it for so long, even though I had considered him a friend. He agreed and apologized sincerely. I know he's always been a good guy, and he told me he made a big mistake, but didn't tell me because he always held on to the trust that my husband would end it with her, as he said he would when Alex asked him to stop it. I'm still very angry, but he's the only one I can trust to make sure she's not there. And my worries were right, because she didn't take the phone call from Alex well. I sat along with him for the phone call, and we had her on speaker. During the whole time, I was furious. He didn't tell her that I knew at first, and she seriously had planned to be there at the reception right in front of me. When she wouldn't budge, even though he asked nicely that she could go to his grave, but she wouldn't be welcomed at the reception, he told her that I knew everything, and she went quiet.
Little mouse.
Yep. Alex told her that she's hurt me and that she should understand it's not acceptable for her to be in my presence during the reception. What she said next was a mix of sorry, that she loved him, the rest was incoherent, and then she hung up. Alex has been trying to reach her twice since, but no answer. I think she got it that she's not welcome, but I have already arranged for Alex and 2 other friends to be at the entrance to welcome people and stop her if she were to come. And apparently she has a boyfriend since about 9 months back. Okay, cool. Great. Dude. I'm not sure what to do about that yet. I'll deal with my own problems first. And you know what you should deal with. You should deal with listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite freaking podcast app is. All right? Just search OK Storytime. We'll be there. We'll be there. So, that was my update. I have dinner with my in-laws tonight, which I'm looking forward to. Overall, I'm okay. As I mentioned above, I'm still confused about my husband, but I guess time will show how I will deal with the situation. It feels good that some people around me know about my situation now, so they can be there to support me and understand if I behave strangely. Thank you, everyone who posted on my original post. I think I maybe read through all of your advice over 4 times. It was a great help in making my decision and helping me through my sadness. As many of you see, I used your advice. So thank you once again. And that's the end of that story, people. Good job, OP. Get that help that you need. It's going to take a long time to figure this one out, girl. You're probably going to go a lot of back and forth.
Therapy.
And eventually,
therapy.
it's going to even out.
My husband's new friend kept texting him, and it's making me crazy.
Are they friends or are they more than friends?
So, I, 30 female, and my husband, Ed, 34 male, have been together for 14 years, married for 6. What happened after so many years of relationship? Insecurity happened.
Well,
And by the way, this comes from user Home Parrot, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit where this story was submitted. I'm Dakota.
and I'm Angie.
I'm Riley. And we are here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, I have a big issue with my insecurity and have been to therapy for a long time for it. He knows about it, and I'm open in communicating everything I'm thinking and feeling about. Still, a situation has opened some old wounds and some red flags. Ew! We met Allie, 30 female, while going to a wedding. We were the godparents. It is practiced in our church. Both of us are not religious, but a good friend of mine asked us to be her and her husband's. And she was a bridesmaid. Since the wedding was in another part of our country and it would mean 13 hours of train travel or 8 hours by car, and we had some free spots in our car, we offered to take Allie with us. We vibed well. I knew her since high school. We were in the same year, different classes, but never got closer than acquaintances. Allie and Ed clicked and started talking. She recommended him some self-help books, and it helped him gain some confidence and heal a part of his people-pleasing tendencies. For that, I am thankful. Now, we tried to get closer, but she would talk to me only if I sent her a message first. I went through friendships like that and got to a point that if I don't find reciprocity, I give up.
Yeah.
No drama, I just retire and see to my life. Those kinds of people don't need my energy, in my opinion. Meanwhile, she keeps talking to my husband. Up until now, everything's okay. I went out with her a couple of times, and even though we had some interesting discussions about feminism and sociology, it still felt awkward for me. When I felt I could not trust her anymore, I invited her out, just the two of us, and respectfully told her how I was feeling. I said it doesn't mean we couldn't be friends anymore, but I wanted to get to know her more since that's how I get to trust people. Since then, she told me she was okay with that, but continued to talk to my husband, kind of ignored me. What has me really peeved is the nausea and empty stomach feeling I have when I know they message each other. To my husband's credit, I fully trust him. He would not betray me out of malice or with intention. He is loyal to a T, but he is dense. Like a neutron star. He does not get it when someone is subtly flirting with him or hints at being interested. Hence, a hand on the shoulder and smiling is for him being friendly or asking for help. She has shown him an error that happened on her notebook while at work and asked him if he can fix it. I am the more tech savvy in the house since in uni I had to fix and adapt my laptop to the demanding software and files we were using. At a point in time, I needed to learn to do some diagnosis. He asked me if I could help her with a Windows reinstallation, and I hesitated, stating that it's a laptop she uses for work. Why doesn't she ask someone from the IT department to help her? I'm not an expert by any means. When I would get blue screens on my laptop, I would use a diagnostic tool and take it to a specialist, a guy who was in the IT department at work, who helps us fix small things for a bevy or lunch the next day. He is happy I tell him what my laptop has exactly because he does not lose as much time as he usually would. Ed has no answer for my question, just that he already promised her to help. I researched a bit and could only do a diagnosis and a basic operating system reinstall, but that does not guarantee solving her problem. Now, he said he talked to her so that the three of us could meet on Sunday. I was hesitant, but agreed. I find it weird that they talk and make plans, but she has not sent me a message in a month. Well, okay, to be fair, they're coworkers, so they're around each other a lot more. They work together. So, does your husband know that you talked to her and told her that, and then she got weird with you?
Yeah.
I would probably make it a thing where it's like, hey, if you're going to hang out with her, we're all going to hang out. Because she has a crush on you, bro. So, thing is, my mom called to remind me that they will come to our town for an event this weekend, and of course, they're going to stay at our place. I told him that, and his reaction was, what about Allie? We'll change the time of the meeting to next week, I said. But we talked about meeting on Sunday at 3 p.m. Well, and I don't know when they're going to leave. Then he told me this all stems from a communication issue and that I did not talk properly with her and never told him about the nausea. All in all, my husband was upset because I don't trust him, which I do. I don't trust her. And that we should let it go for today because both of us were irritated and did not want this to develop into a full-fledged fight, that he would talk to her. I don't know. Am I overreacting? Am I justified? Am I an a-hole? As a thing, he is good friends with another friend of ours, but we never had issues. She made a group chat where we talk and plan all the outings, consults him when she meets other people and so on, but she never raised red flags and is mindful of me and respects our relationship. Even she told me the dudette raised some red flags. And there are some comments, but beautiful people in this room with me. What do we think?
I think it's weird.
There is some weirdness.
I think
I don't like
think
it.
pointing out that it's like she had the computer problem and did not go to the IT department, instead went to OP's husband.
yeah.
Yeah, she's just looking for an excuse to interact, which
Yeah.
is like,
Totally. That's such a classic like schoolgirl tactic. Like, hey, can you help me on this problem?
yeah, can you help me with my math
I'm
homework?
so stupid.
If this girl is into you, it's like,
Mhm.
why are we entertaining that?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not that I don't trust you and I think you're going to cheat on me with this person. It's this
Right.
person is like giving you signs and you're just sort of like not leaning into it, but like you're facilitating them to continue by
Yeah.
like continuing to just like roll with it, even
Mhm.
if it's totally innocent and you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll fix your computer. It's because I'm a coworker, I'm a friend, I don't care.
Right.
But it's like, it's just a principle. It's the principle
Yeah.
of the thing. We got comments. Comment 1 says, just sit down and talk to him. I feel like there's been some misunderstandings. Now, I may be wrong, but if I had plans with someone and suddenly needed to change my plans, my reaction would also have been, but what about them? That might be why your husband asked about Allie, since you mentioned he's pretty dense. Also, bring up the fact that she never reaches out to you while constantly messaging him, even after you spoke to her about it. I think that's pretty sketchy on her part. Another comment says, my boyfriend has a female friend that I too get bad vibes from, and it stems from her not really being respectful of the relationship. That is what really seems to be the issue. This woman puts all this energy into chatting with your husband, but doesn't even try to chat with you. The work computer is odd as well, because companies tend to have an IT department, because it's usually a violation of policy to have another entity look into their computers, as it might compromise proprietary information. Feels more like a setup to be a damsel in distress. I think couples counseling would be very helpful, as it would be a good way for both of you to communicate better in regards to this situation. I think highlighting the differences in Allie and the other female friend would be helpful as well. So let's say the other friend is Sarah, and she does the following that makes you feel she respects the relationship you have with your husband and the boundaries you have. I can explain the things that you can explain the things that Allie does and how you feel they are disrespectful to your relationship and how they violate your boundaries. Good luck, and I hope things go well. And there's an update.
Oh boy. Do we think things are gonna go well?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
I do.
You're so. You know what?
I do.
Me too. I like that optimism.
To clarify, we all work in different places. He's in the army, I in a
What the-
state institution, and she in a corporation. So they don't work together. She was not provided a work laptop. It was her personal laptop, even though, in my opinion, if she used it for work, it could have been solved at work. They never met privately. I know his schedule. We communicate all the time. All of my insecurities stem from years of bullying. If you had yourself brought down and humiliated and had your money taken for protection and were called weird for years, it stamps on your self-worth. I needed lots of therapy to get better. We have talked. Everything is all right. Allie is out of the picture.
Okay.
And that's a cha-ching,
Cha-ching.
cacao, clunk, cling. That's the sound of the jackpot hitting. After I posted, I sent him the post, and it floored him. As I suspected, his reaction was out of concern because of his people-pleasing tendencies. Yes, he is a recovering people-pleaser. Also, because he had not slept in 30 hours. He had a 24-hour shift and was ordered to stay behind for a ceremony. No, this is not an excuse. The PR team of the Army posted photos of the ceremony publicly. Yes, our Army does that. Official events are not secret. He was tired, irritated, and most of all, he could not think straight. I believe him. He showed me all the messages they had. Nothing was deleted. We use WhatsApp, so if he deleted a message, it would have shown. And by the way, you can show up to listen to full episodes of stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your mom. Whatever
Whoa.
it is, just search OK
Oh.
Storytime.
Dude,
probably
we're
is
on
your
your mom. Oh.
I like this. We did it.
Yeah.
It's good.
We got communication going.
We did it.
We got trust going.
Yeah. Yesterday, after showing him the post, he called me at work. We talked for about half an hour where he apologized, explained his point of view, and then called her to end it. Her excuses for not talking to me were I seem to be cold and answer shortly and am curt with her. I looked at our convos. I was the more active one, so she had the audacity to lie. After work, we had dinner, and after dinner, he brought a wine bottle, and we started the discussion. We talked about the situation. He apologized and explained to me he was just viewing her as being friendly. He showed me the convos. Most were about the books he was reading. No deleted messages, nothing. We continued on to what had brought us to this point and what we should do. All is good. There's no need to call him a cheater or jump to conclusions. It was miscommunication on both parts. I will not throw away a 14-year relationship over a hiccup.
That's right.
There we go.
I agree.
Period.
And that's the end of that story. I agree. Especially because
Yeah.
y'all worked it out
Yeah.
honestly, I think.
Right? This is what communication brings, guys. Solutions to things.